One morning I went out to check around the farmhouse, and a scene of utter devastation awaited me. These are true tales of my African adventures. May this inspire you, deter you, caution you, and above all, entertain you. Well, good morning, everybody. We spoke recently about honey badgers. So here's another honey badger story. We had some Rhode Island red chickens on the farm, and these chickens are for egg production. We had 50 of them. We didn't have an egg farm, but we used to produce quite a few eggs, and they went to friends and family, etc. And it was a nice hobby, and my wife took charge of that. And one morning I went out to check around the farmhouse, and a scene of utter devastation awaited me. Inside our chicken enclosure of 50 Rhode Island Reds, there were chickens dead and dying everywhere. The whole lot, not one of them survived. One chicken was missing out of the 50, gone, taken away. The rest were just slaughtered. And the scene of carnage is just unbelievable. You cannot believe it. Now, I knew immediately this was the work of a honey badger. Now, when you see a tame honey badger like the famous Stoffel, they are so cute, so sweet, so intelligent, and they're quite loving, actually. But when they're wild, it's a different kettle of fish. So chickens all slaughtered, cage ripped open, and he took one. And you ask yourself, well, why don't they just go in and take one chicken? He could always come back in a day or two and steal another one. That would be fine, but why kill them all? Well, nature seems to have a mechanism whereby if there are a lot of animals concentrated together, creatures like honey badgers, etc., will slaughter them because it thins out the animals if there are too many in an area. You don't want too many of anything anywhere in the wild. The balance can get upset. It's something along those lines. So we repaired and reinforced the cage. A few nights later, I went out in the morning, and during the night, he had returned and he broke through the reinforced wiring. And that time we had about 30 chickens in, and they were all slaughtered. We reinforced the cage more, and there were about 20, and he came back again, slaughtered all of those. I was really getting fed up at this stage. So we had a trap cage made up, and we set the trap cage. He came along, didn't go in, but was a bit spooked, left. A few nights later he came, and we had disguised the cage beautifully with branches and leafy sticks and so on, and rubbed the chicken with one of the dead previously slaughtered chickens. So it smelt like a chicken. And then we put the remains of a slightly high dead chicken with a good scent at the back of the trap cage, and he went in, he took the bait. And when I got there that particular morning, I was greeted with a probably 30 or 35 pound bundle of vicious, snarling honey badger trying to get at me through the cage. They are absolutely relentless, and they are fearless, and they go for you. And he just wanted to get me. He wanted me with all his might. He was trying to tear the trap cage open, and he had already damaged it quite badly through the night. So I called the staff. We reinforced with long pieces of wire and pliers some of the weakened areas, just to make sure he didn't get out, because we'd be in trouble then. You cannot hold on to a honey badger. Their skin is very loose. They're very strong. They're tough. They're fierce. and they know to go for your genitalia or some sensitive area, and they will attack you and they will shred you and you will bleed. You'll bleed to death. You have to be very careful with these creatures. Having reinforced the cage, I figured we would drive a great distance and release it. So we went somewhere between 40 and 50 kilometers along the Waterberg mountain range. Chose a game farm, drove on, met the farmer, asked him if we could release it there. He agreed. And we went out to an appropriate looking place, all of us, farmer in tow, and got onto the back of the vehicle and shifted the door of the trap cage so that it was cantilevered over the tailgate, so that when the honey badger jumped out, he would fall down onto the ground and not on the back of the truck with us, because if he ended up in the back of the truck with us, we would be in trouble. It's incredible that such a small, and it's not that small, but such a small creature could present such a threat to a human, but boy, they do. So I lifted the trapdoor cage from behind with others holding on to it so it didn't overbalance. And he was snarling and trying to get at me, as he was doing all the time, and suddenly went forward and fell out onto his feet, turned around, looked at me, snarled, and walked towards the vehicle a little. They're not good at jumping. And then turned and ran into the bush. And we watched him go and go and go till he completely disappeared. That was the end of that honey badger. What an ordeal. Hey, by the way, I do have Patreon, so you can join me there too.